So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast and Team Sheet Tantrum. A bit of a later Team Sheet Tantrum than normal. I do apologise about that. There was reasons for it, but let's get stuck straight in to this Team Sheet Tantrum. And the team sheet, as most of you will have seen and are commenting in the comments already, is Martinez in goals, Cash, Konza, Pau and Digne, Onana, Kamara, McGinn, Gesand, Rogers and Watkins, and exactly the team I thought that it was going to go out tonight, and it's the one that I actually put into my match preview that I wrote for Playmaker Stats and for One Football as well. I just always felt away from home he was going to go with Gesand on that right hand side as opposed to Sancho or as opposed to Daniel Malen. He plays more conservatively away from home, and you know, we have he's since he's came into this club, he's been the fourth best. We've been the fourth best team in Premier League football. So we'll see what happens tonight. We'll see if we can keep that going tonight, because I think tonight is going to be very much about soaking up pressure, an awful lot of pressure from Liverpool. I think tonight Liverpool are, like, if any of you guys saw my opposition research piece that I did, you know, Liverpool fans are not happy bunnies at the minute, and Liverpool players know that. Arne Slot knows that. And this is a big game for them. It's a big spotlight game, 8 o'clock on a Saturday evening. Yes, you've got Ireland are playing New Zealand in rugby at the same time, but that ain't going to take eyes off this in the UK for sure. Everybody's going to be watching this game tonight. And it's, you know, it's one that if, let's say Liverpool go 1-0 down or Liverpool are 2-0 down, if we go 2-0 up at some stage, it could get raucous. You know, it really could get raucous. But that's why I think that that Unai understands the fact that Liverpool are going to come out here all guns blazing tonight. Their firepower is what keeps them in most games. Their defense is leaky. I still think we can get at their defense. I think we will get at their defense today. But I do think we're going to need to soak up pressure and then kind of catch them later on in the game. I'm quite hopeful that we're going to win this tonight. Once again, as I say, it's going to have to be tactically astute. It's going to have to be tactically adept, and we're going to have to, you know, there is going to have to be a game plan that's enacted in this game tonight, I think. Second, I don't have stickers all stuck on me after my young fella. But yeah, so look, this is the team I fully expected. I know some people don't agree with the team. I know some people didn't expect this team, but yeah, it's the team that I 100% expected to go out tonight. But I think on the bench we've got a very strong bench as well. Marco Bizot in goal, or in sub goalkeeper, should I say? Ian Matson, Lindelof, Tyrone Mings, Lamar Bogard, Ross Barkley, Sancho, Daniel Malen, and then the newcomer on the bench there, and Ben Braggio, who I think we're all excited to see on that bench. All excited to see training and traveling with the first team. We all know the talent he has. He's got a natural talent with the ball at his feet. I actually think that moving up to a more senior grade would actually be better for him. Yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing his proper debut for the senior team, albeit that I don't think we're going to see it tonight. Because of the people we have there on that bench as well. But yeah, great to see him there, a homegrown kid, and somebody who we're all looking forward to seeing the best of over the coming years, hopefully in a claret and blue jersey. It's interesting as well, the man that's been shown there in the graphic, Amadou Onana. Obviously, he had probably his best game in a long time for Aston Villa last week against Manchester City. He's going to need to have another one of those today. I haven't seen the Liverpool team. I actually haven't seen it at all. We'll bring it up here and I'll discuss it in a moment. But Onana is going to have to be pivotal. He's going to have to stuff that space like he did against Man City. He's going to have to allow, because McGinn it's going to be Gesand on the right, Rogers on the left, and McGinn is going to play through the centre, and McGinn is going to come back into more of an 8 role than a 10. So he is going to have to, and is going to have to allow Kamara to to drop between the three, between the back two, make it into a back three, and he's also going to have to allow him to cover off that right hand side of the field. If you guys remember when we did the debrief from the Man City game, I showed the heat maps for the two players, and it was interesting how high Onana actually got, and I didn't notice it until the second watching, and then actually looking at the statistics afterwards. How high he got in the field was interesting to me, and I think that was an awful lot to do with the fact that McGinn could maneuver backwards to or into that 8th position, but it also allowed Kamara to go over and help Matty Cash. And we saw how Matty Cash had a decent game there as against he had a very good game against Manchester City, and allowed him to do that as well. Whereas Onana was able to go further forward, McGinn was able to tuck back in, and their touch maps actually were quite interesting, where they were getting touches of the ball, and specifically for Onana, how far forward on that left hand side he actually was able to get those touches, because Kamara was staying back further, more to the right hand side, and then had that ability to cover that right hand side if Matty Cash went forward, and also to slink back in to become a third man in a back three as well. So it's really interesting. Be wondering to see how that positional, how the positioning of these two players are, what the spacing is like between midfield and that defense is like today. Because the real interesting thing for the Liverpool team is that, and we showed it as well in the debrief that are in the preview for this, how condensed teams have made it against Liverpool. They've tried to play everything in a 40-yard square box, essentially, try and drag Liverpool's fullbacks forward, which Liverpool's fullbacks want to do anyway, and they've popped balls in behind them. Konate, Virgil van Dijk don't have the pace anymore to get out to those balls. Well, Van Dijk, and I won't say the pace, but they can't be everywhere at all times. And teams have kept players high. They've kept them honest by keeping players high. And Watkins will stay high today. Rodgers will stay high today. I don't know what Guessand is going to do today. I don't know how far wide he's going to play. I don't know whether he's going to come in as that number 10. But there's going to be an awful lot of work needed, and we expect this in every game from John McGinn, and he duly gives it to us as well to be able to cover those positions too from that 10 or 8 position that he's going to be in. So look, for me, there's nothing really surprising here other than Ben Braggio as the man coming into the bench, as opposed to, I don't know, a second goalkeeper like we normally go with when something like this happens. But congratulations to Ben Braggio. I'm going to try and bring up the Liverpool team here as well, guys, if you would just bear with me. Let's see. I will take a gander at the Liverpool team. Okay. There we go. So Liverpool team is Mamadashvili in goals, Conor Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson, Gravenberch and McAllister, with Szoboszlai, Salah and Ekitike behind, Szoboszlai, Salah and Gakpo behind Ekitike. So formidable strike force there. I'm surprised that McAllister is playing again after he played in midweek, specifically with Gravenberch being in there too. I suppose really it's just a case whereby we'll probably see Gravenberch maybe if he's feeling any ill effects, because he's only just back on grass this week as far as I know. Endo will probably the man to come in there as well. They've gone in with Robertson as opposed to Kirkes. I would have expected that as well. And when you look at their bench, there's an awful lot of young players in that bench. Obviously, they've got one young player that's worth 150 million pounds on the bench there as well. But they've got Freddie Woodman, they've got Pesky, they've Gomez, Endo, Kirkes, Wirtz, Chiesa, Neoni, and Ngoma on the bench there as well. So a lot of youth on that bench, a lot of firepower, a lot of pace and electricity on that bench as well. But they've kind of got the team. The team they've out is the team that's probably on song at the moment. Potentially, they could have moved Szoboszlai back in beside McAllister and put and kept Gravenberch off and brought him on in the second half and played with Wirtz in there as opposed to Szoboszlai, or played Chiesa in there, or played Ngoma in there as well. So they've gone with their experienced team, and they're coming for an early to get goals early. That team tells me they're coming to get goals early today, and they've gone with a tried and tested team, and Villa will need to be on it from the very, very, very first minute in this game. And I think they will be. I think Villa will be very well drilled for this. We've had a week to look the ones of week 6 days to work to look at this Liverpool team. We've seen them in midweek. We've been able to work on our shape work. We haven't had any niggles, bar the Emi Buendia injury as such. We haven't had any niggles in the first 11 or the 16 or the 20 that you see there. So it's been a week where you can practice for this. You can spot train for certain instances, certain transitions, certain traits that this team has or doesn't have, and you can move in certain ways, and you can get your kind of shape work down to a T. And I think that's a plus point for Villa, because when we have an opportunity to do that, and then obviously we've had opportunities to do it when we haven't executed it. But you know what I mean, like the reason I'm saying that here is because we've had a full week to do this, and this team that we have is shown that it can execute that shape work very well. Then I'm more hopeful that we can keep this tight in the first half. Essentially, maybe nick a goal in the first half and see what happens there. So it's interesting. Now, obviously, you've got Evan Gassand in there. I would, in a twist of fate, I suppose, because at the start of the season, I probably wouldn't have said this about Buendia. But from a shape work point of view, Buendia is actually really good at just like holding his position when he needs to and being in the position that he needs to, albeit he isn't the physical presence in there. What you have from Gassand is someone who can run up and down that wing, who's good defensively, and is more of a bigger man, maybe from corners or crosses or whatever the case may be, although he has yet to show it so far. But yeah, look, it's both teams are probably what we would have thought. Outside maybe of Gravenberch and McAllister being in there together, I think that's I expected everybody that's playing there to be playing. Put it that way. Maybe outside of Gravenberch. But this is a strong Liverpool team. That's essentially, you take Ekitike out of that team there, and that's the team that won the league last year. Mamardashvili as well. You take him out, and that's a team that won the league last year. That's a team that won the league. Now, again, Mamardashvili, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of pelters struck at him from distance early in this game. Somebody who should be an incredible backup goalkeeper, and he's a good goalkeeper. Jesus, don't get me wrong, but this guy is no mug. He's come in for no small fee as well. At the same time, played a lot of football in his time, and I know not a lot of people are Allison, but this guy can be caught cold. You can catch him cold. So kind of like the shot that Matty Cash took against Donnarumma. Get a couple of pelters, a couple of John McGinn specials low into the bottom corners. See if this guy can get down to them early in the game, and make him honest. I suppose make him honest. Get him behind those fullbacks. I'd be one thing as well with Mamardashvili. I think that we should try, because, as I say, it's a lot of his. I'm not any guru on goalkeeper or anything like that, and he's a good goalkeeper. So please don't. I'm not trying to say he's a bad goalkeeper at all, but it's getting down to balls is some of his biggest problems at times. So I would even be saying, if we're cutting in, somebody's cutting in and from the edge of the box, and yes, your angles are low, have a pelter towards his legs, kick one towards his shins, and see, can he get down? See, can he move his feet in time for it? Give this guy something to do early, and see if we can catch something. It's not that he's a bad goalie. It's just that, trying to get down to those balls early in games, or even getting down to the balls for somebody like him, sometimes can be difficult. He's a big, strong, spreads his body type guy, all right, and he'll pluck everything out of the sky. So for me, that's what I would be trying with Mamardashvili early in this game. Have a couple of sighters, keep him honest, keep everything on target. Easier said than done, and see what happens there. In the early parts of this game, don't waste what I mean by here is don't waste chances. I think if we try and get stuff on target, I would consider that not a wasted chance. As opposed to somebody, maybe trying to get a more spectacular finish, try and put it in the top corner. Have ones low, nice little squirmers into the bottom corners, and force the reactions early and see what happens here. Because, as I said, this team is, I don't know, can you say a team that's lost that won the league? And yes, they're 6 out of 7 lost. Can we say they're low on confidence? I think, because they're professional footballers, they know they're on a shit run. So it's all about capitalizing. It's all about making making something out of the areas and the weaknesses and the traits that Unai and his backroom team have seen. and I've been working on for the last week. So that's what I would be saying in this one. That would be my my team talk for this, and I'm sure no one would bat an eyelid at anything I've had to say there. I'm going to come to some of your comments there as well, guys. Let's see there. Ronan Riley says Sancho instead of Gassan. Bardat very happy with the team and optimistic. Yeah, I can see that, and I think we will see Sancho. Obviously, Sancho and Daniel Malin will play in this game as well. I think this is a team for the first 55, 60 minutes. Try and keep things tight and try and nick something, I think. And then we obviously have pace and power to come off the bench then as well. But where else are we? I'm just going to scroll down here a small bit because there is Melty shirts, by the way. And this Melty, you've got some great stuff up on your Redbubble site as well. So guys, if you don't know, Melty shirts has loads of stickers, loads of merch, loads of stuff he does. He's a graphic designer. So he put some cool stuff up there today. I just happened to see it and retweeted it on Twitter. But Melty says it should be a great time to play them, but Villa PTSD makes it hard to get too excited. Let's go Villa and go for the kill. Yeah, look, the Villa PTSD is real. Absolutely is real. I think we all know what it is at this stage. We've all lived through it for long enough. But the other thing I think about where we are is our slow start is going to be a constant reminder for us throughout the course of the whole season. If we have an opportunity now to go into third place in the league. Sorry, we don't. We have an opportunity to go into fourth place in the league. Minimum fifth place, depending on what goal difference is. You know, we have that opportunity we have an opportunity to get back and to have the upper hand, to have the you know, what is it? One in the hand is worth two in the bush, that kind of thing, you know, from a points point of view. We have that opportunity now, and that banishes a lot of the poor start that we had, you know, because no matter what way our start went or what way our start didn't went, it didn't go. If you're talking to me on Saturday, the 1st of November, and we're sitting in the top 3 or 4 positions, you're absolutely laughing, belly laughter, and you're absolutely thrilled at how the season is going. So the redemption arc so far has been really good. The redemption arc could be absolutely exceptional after tonight. If we were to come away with a win here, it would be absolutely exceptional. If we were to come away with a draw here, it wouldn't exactly be too bad either. It puts us in 16 points, and I think that we're definitely still looking up the league then. And we would have navigated a really tricky period and patch of games in the league. So I think really, once again, and spoiler alert, my prediction for this is a 1-1 draw. But I think this is a must not lose game as opposed to a must win game, albeit that we win this, we put ourselves in a brilliant position, because it's the league is so concertinaed. Outside of Arsenal, the league is so at one stage today, Man United were second in the league. At one stage today, Manchester United were second in the league. That's the way the league has gone so far. You know, so it's Arsenal and everybody else down as far as 11th or 12th, 13th position at the moment. That's the way the league is currently. And if Villa can capitalize tonight and get that win, and likewise Liverpool are in the dressing room saying the exact same thing. We capitalize, we get a win, we go into, I think they go into second place outright or definitely third place outright. You know, they are looking a small bit better as well. They're looking up at Arsenal as opposed to looking, trying to find them in the distance. They're looking, they're able to read their number plate, if that makes sense, in the distance. So it's it's one for both teams. It's one for both teams where there's a lot more than just breadcrumbs out of winning this one. It really puts you in a good position and an elevated position and a good position going into, we've got do we have one more set of games left before the international break? I can't quite remember, and you want to be sitting in those lofty positions, obviously, for the international break. So it's going to be an interesting one, and we will see how it goes. Where else are we? Patrick says TNT1 really tried to balance things. Jared, Macca, and Joe Cole haven't heard anything about Villa in the build-up. What is new? Water is wet. VAR is shit. All things we know already. And debt, taxes, and VAR is shit. That's they're the three things at the moment. But yeah, look, it is what it is. You've got Steven Gerrard there, obviously he's ties to both teams. You've got Joe Cole there, obviously he's got ties to both teams. Look, it doesn't concern me whatsoever. But you're right. There should be some sort of fairness doctrine with regards to that. But look, I suppose they've got two people in there that have connections to both teams, albeit that Steven Gerrard can never really claim a connection to Villa other than he'd be remembered as the man who said that Chelsea should be coming to Villa Park and wiping the floor with Aston Villa. And that will never leave my mind in connection with him. Right, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I am going to leave it at that because I know that everybody wants to get quick and get started and get ready. The game is on 24 minutes. We will also be throwing you directly into Stato's stream, AVFC Stato stream. If you don't know, we do that after every game, or at least we try to, if the tech gods allow us to. That's what I'm just checking now to see if this is going to allow me to throw you into Stato's game. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Bit of production on the fly here. So, we're going to leave it at that, guys. We will be back with a post-match podcast as well, a shorter post-match podcast as well afterwards. Maybe do win, lose, or draw. We'll be back straight on the full-time whistle, maybe for 15, 20 minutes. Then I'm going to step in with Dan Ronaldson as well from Claret and Blue as well to chat to him directly after my podcast then as well. So it's going to be a busy next 3 or 4 hours for me. But hopefully you'll join us for that, and hopefully we'll be chatting about an Aston Villa win. Apologies, I don't have time to go down through the scores, do the score roundup. If we lose, it will definitely be my fault for not going through that tradition. But as I said, thanks so much for everybody for understanding about this later team sheet tantrum as well today, and also for the fact that I need to run because I'm on daddy daycare and I need to go in and look after the care inside. So thanks so much, everybody. Here's to an Aston Villa win later. All that's left to say is stay safe, stay healthy, and up the Villa.